Today, we're reacting to an ESPN discussion about a huge NFL playoff game, focusing on a star quarterback, big mistakes, and a season that ended in a very painful way for one fan base. This is one of those playoff losses that people are going to talk about all offseason. Before we get into the reaction, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more NFL reacts like this.
No one saw that coming. Although, you know what? I shouldn't say that. Tracy Wolfson did put out there on Twitter right beforehand on the CBS broadcast that she saw that Bo Nix got banged up on that second to last play. But I checked that tweet, all the tweets about Nix's injury 1,000 times. Afterwards, I'm like, this is not real. Like, what do you mean he's out for the season? And then you see Sean Payton get up there and address the media. I didn't think that was real. Again, more on the Broncos, obviously, as the week or maybe weeks to come here. Josh Allen and the Bills come up short once again. How much blame does he deserve?
Oh, quite a bit. There are mistakes that Josh made that he should know better than. Right before halftime, the scramble, the fumble that leads to points for the Denver Broncos. And instead of going into halftime being down one score, it's a two-possession game. Egregious. Your defense gets a pick, and then 2 plays later, after being gifted the ball inside the opponent's 40-yard line, seemingly in field goal range already, you turn around and you throw another pick. And then the missed throw that you had at the end of regulation to Dawson Knox that would have called game. Those are 3 plays that if Josh had back, and if any of them go a different way, we're talking about the Buffalo Bills and not the Denver Broncos advancing to the AFC Championship game. So when Josh sits in front of the microphones post-game in the locker room and says that he lets his teammates down, that is not coach speak. That's not hyperbolic. That is fact. He let his team down. And in a postseason with no Mahomes, no Lamar, no Joe Burrow, you would think that this was the opportunity that he had been waiting for, and he's the one that squandered it.
Yeah. Those 4 turnovers, obviously problematic. Obviously, he's contributing to the loss, and you saw it in his emotions after the game. You saw it in the whole team's emotions after the game because they knew what was at stake here. That's what's interesting about this particular loss. The Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen coming up short in the playoffs, not foreign to us. Josh Allen being firmly one of the, if not the main reasons why, is foreign to us. He did not have a turnover in his previous 6 playoff appearances. We've seen Josh Allen go toe-to-toe with Mahomes and have great playoff moments. It didn't result in the ultimate goal, which is to get to and win a Super Bowl, but they knew the opportunity that they had this year. They knew the path was more clear than it may ever be in their entire careers. And now you got to contend with the Patriots because it doesn't feel like they're going anywhere. So not only do you have another team in your conference that you need to look over your shoulder about, they're in your own division. And you feel so bad for Josh Allen as we're watching it on the TV side. You just see the emotions and the body language. You know how heartbroken he was. You know how heartbroken they were. But something has got to change in Buffalo because the way that they have been going about this, it's not yielding the right results. And I don't know what the answer is, but something has to change in order for them to maximize his career.
Well, what comes to mind? When you say something has to change, what are the things that come to your mind?
Right away, this feels like shock more than analysis. You can hear how nobody really believed what they were watching, especially with the injuries and the way the game swung so fast. When a season ends like this, it's not even about stats yet. It's just disbelief and frustration setting in.
Hard to blame coaching when he turns the ball over 4 times. I don't know what the answer is because he's had. We try to minimize some of the talent that's been around Josh Allen because he's so good. He is so excellent at his craft that we sometimes act like he doesn't have the Chase and Higgins, and we compare him to other quarterbacks and say, well, he's doing it with less. But it doesn't matter. You have to step up and be the reason why they win. And he has done it so many times, but not in the playoffs. We can go through the list of how they've lost. Lost in the wild card twice, lost in the AFC Championship round, lost in the divisional round 3 years ago. Then you get back to the AFC Championship game, you lose that, and then you lose in the divisional round this year again when you have absolutely no scary quarterbacks. I mean, no disrespect to anybody else, but your familiar foes you don't have in your way, and you lose again. And I don't know what conversations are being had in Buffalo, but they need to get in the think tank and figure something out because you don't. One of the saddest things in life is wasted potential.
No doubt.
And I fear for him that we are going to look back on his career and say, what a waste of talent and potential that he wasn't able to get it done.
Something's got to give. He's 8-7 in the postseason. Of those 7 losses, 5 of them were by 1 score, and in those 5 games, they have lost by an average of 3.6 points per game. Something has to give in that. And I think the single best analysis you're going to hear all day is the analysis that CC just gave you. He just brought up moments where Josh Allen did not show up big that would have never gotten you to the point of even debating the pass interference or the interception. That is the key. It is, and I'm sorry to be yelling about this, but it's driving me crazy that everyone is going to sit here today and they're going to debate whether or not the pass interference should have been called on Trey White. They're going to debate Jaquan McMillan, shout out to him, Pirate Radio in Greenville, one of our news stations, 92.7. Jonathan Ellerby was on with them last week. He's an ECU guy, so shout out to them. They just added our show. So great that one of their guys made a huge play. But everyone's going to bring up interception or not an interception, the Brandon Cook stuff.
That was just a great play.
It was, but the point is,
great play.
CC just gave you 3 or 4 moments during the course of that game where the best player on the planet did not play like the best player on the planet. And if he played 90% of being the best player on the planet, the interception and the pass interference do not come into play. Are we just going to ignore that? And Sean McDermott postgame had this to say of the interception and the referees and the calls late in this big stance for the town that he's in.
It's hard for me to understand why it was ruled the way it was ruled. And if it is ruled that way, then why wasn't it slowed down? Just to make sure that we have this right. That would have made a lot of sense to me, to make sure that we have this thing right, because that's a pivotal play in the game. We have the ball at the 20, maybe kicking a game-winning field goal right there. So I'll just leave it at that. But I'm saying it because I'm standing up for Buffalo, damn it. I'm standing up for us. Because what went on is not how it should go down, in my estimation. That play, these guys spent 3 hours out there playing football, pouring their guts out, to not even say, hey, let's just slow this thing down. That's why I'm bothered.
Okay, I understand it. You're probably in job preservation mode also in your mind after that because of yet another bad loss.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is 0-7 in overtime games in his career. 2 things can be true.
Wild.
Josh Allen is trending towards a first ballot Hall of Fame career.
This is where the conversation really turns heavy on Josh Allen. From a normal fan perspective, it's hard to argue when they point out specific mistakes that directly led to points. In the playoffs, especially with a clear path like this, those moments feel way bigger and harder to forgive.
And separately, something has to change here. They can't. The one that drove me nuts, 23. If I'm a Bills fan, down 23-17. CC brought this up, but I want to reiterate it. In the third, Bo Nix has an interception. Next possession, Josh Allen has an interception. No, if you're gifted something, and you are Josh Allen, you lead your team downfield and you score.
No doubt.
In overtime, the pass to the tight end where it was a bad throw. End of first half. These are all, the fumble was awful. It reminded me of the first playoff game he ever played against the Houston Texans where he threw the ball backwards.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like those are not typical Josh Allen moments. And again, sit here all day and debate the pass interference and debate whether or not it was an interception. And by the way, I think they made the right call in both spots. The reality is you have the best player on the planet. Don't put yourself in those positions. And CC gave you 3 or 4 moments that would have prevented him from being in that position. It's driving me nuts. It's actually disrespectful to not critique Josh Allen. Because if you're not critiquing Josh Allen, you're telling me you don't expect him to win in these spots. You don't expect him to find a way. Matthew Stafford wasn't great yesterday. Found a way. Caleb Williams, late in the game, wasn't great. Found a way. Drake May, CC and I debated whether or not we thought he had a great game. He's saying he had a great game because he wasn't spectacular, because that actually enabled them to be good. Found a way. Sam Darnold, oh my God, we're up big early. Kickoff return. You know what the game plan is? Do nothing. Found a way. Josh Allen, how difficult is this to happen to you yet again? Let's hear from him.
It's extremely difficult. I feel like I let my teammates down tonight.
Emotional. You feel badly for him, but as CC said, he did let them down.
He let them down. And he had opportunities to win that game, to grab it by the throat, and to will his team to victory, and he didn't do it. And after all of the things that we talked about transpiring with the turnovers and miscues, at the end of the game, had a wide-open Dawson Knox and couldn't put it on him.
That's right.
And that would have won the game.
That's right.
You had the field goal in the bag already. You were well within range. It was just a matter of, okay, pressure's off. Can I make a throw? And the fact is, he didn't. the guy on the other side of the field, the other sideline, Bo Nix, he made throw after throw after throw.
Now it turns into something deeper than one game. They're talking about legacy, wasted chances, and how many times this keeps happening. As a fan, this is the worst part because it starts feeling like a pattern instead of bad luck. And that's when doubt really creeps in.
And people don't want to talk about it, and people are going to forget about it. But on that field on Saturday afternoon in Mile High, Bo Nix outplayed Josh Allen. That is a fact. And that is going to be tough for the Bills Mafia to digest all offseason long. You went into a game, and presumably the best player in the league wasn't the best quarterback on the field. They got to put that in their pipe and smoke it for the rest of the offseason.
One other very quick note. Final drive, pass interference, 2nd and 12. Right? Everybody says, oh, it wasn't a pass interference. Guess what? If it was just an incompletion, it's still 3rd and 12 from the 38-yard line. You still could kick a field goal.
Yeah, I'm going to say this, though, and I know this is an aside, but the NFL, this whole catch, no catch, interception bit, they got to figure that out. Because the same thing happened in yesterday's game, 4th quarter with Davante Adams, and it was a deep end cut. He catches it, but yet one of the guys from the Chicago Bears ends up coming up with it, and they ruled it a catch for Davante. It's seemingly the same action, and yet it was a different result. The NFL has got to do a deep dive and give a clear explanation as to why the one in the Broncos-Bills game was a pick, why the one in the Bears-Rams game was a catch, and there needs to be clear guidance on that moving forward because it's confusing for everybody. I mean, it's confusing for fans, it's confusing for players, it's confusing for me. NFL's got to clear that up.
And it's influencing the results of games.
Yes.
Coming up, your guy is going to the end.
After watching this whole discussion, it really feels like one of those playoff losses that sticks with a player and a franchise for years. The talent is obviously there, but in the biggest moments, things just didn't come together. And that's what makes this so painful to watch as a fan. At the end of the day, this isn't about hating on one player. It's about expectations. When you're considered one of the best, people expect you to find a way, especially in games like this. If you enjoyed this reaction, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more NFL playoff reacts.